A lich discovered, a deity consulted, a decision settled upon. Guys, gals, and MB pals, welcome to another episode of Let's Get Wildemount. I am Gil Ramirez, your humble dungeon master, and before me are a wonderful group of players. We're going to actually start with CB, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, my name is Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard, and I'll be playing Norvad, the Hollow One Way of Mercy monk.
Thank you. Nick?
Hello, my name is Nick. Nick the Tiefling. I'm playing Ekris, the Tiefling Paladin of Vengeance.
Thank you. Aki?
Hi, everybody. I'm Aki, and I'm playing Loom, the Fire Genasi Arcane Trickster Rogue.
Thank you. Mike?
Hey everyone, I'm Mike, and I am playing Harmond, the Blood Hunter Order of the Lichen.
Thank you. Kelly?
Hi, I'm Kelly, the Opera Geek, and I am playing your pastry-loving gunslinger, Odessa.
Thank you. And finally, Michael?
I am Michael Sinclair II. I am playing a Shatterkai Blood Cleric. That's me.
Yeah. All right, CB, we have a few sponsors to get through today. Let me shoot it right back to you.
Thank you. Yes, we are very happy to have multiple sponsors and partners for the stream. And one of the partners I'm going to specifically talk about right now is Idle Champions. Woo. A lot of you are here because of Idle Champions and their promo going on right now. If you look on chat, if you use Swap Cube Myth, MIFF, you will get an Electum chest within your game. The code is being rotated over and over again. So do not worry. You do not have to spam in chat. It will definitely pop up almost every 10 seconds, guaranteed. You will also see it periodically on the screen itself, as well as some other things that we do have scrolling in that spot. But just know that we are very thankful for you all and your viewership. This was a really cool show, and we hope you all stick around, not just for the code, but the code is in chat. We again appreciate all of you, and we appreciate Idle Champions for partnering with Let's Get Wildemount, a show that is near and dear to my heart, a little brainchild of mine. Again, the code is SWAPCUBE, MIFF. SWAPCUBE, MIFF. We also are thankful for our friends over at D&D Beyond for being most of our primary source of digital D&D, whether it's our character sheets or some of the digital dice that we use, even the encounters sometimes. Check out D&D Beyond and get all of the things that you may need, including the campaign that we're using. We are using the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, which is a Critical Role setting, and we're using it via D&D Beyond. And we will be giving away a code for a digital copy of the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount some point in the break. So stay tuned for that. You will get a hashtag command to put in chat, and one lucky winner will get that. Just put it in once. You will not get a notification in chat if you've entered, but trust me, if you enter it in once, you will be entered on our side. So stay tuned for that. Also, big shout out to our friends at Wizards of the Coast, D&D, for hosting this channel. So if you're watching this via D&D's Twitch channel, hello, hi. We are so happy to have you here. And that's that. Again, thank you so much for D&D Beyond, and Idle Champions for partnering with us this season. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, Nick, we have a few sponsors from you, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, we're going to start off with Die Hard Dice, home of some of the best dice on the market. They're absolutely incredible, high quality dice. And they strive to promote the community within the RPG space with their dice affiliate program and collaborations with many creators like Gabe James Games, the Motherlands RPG, and even the Critical Bard himself. On dice sets for the communities, you can check out dieharddice.com for a large selection of dice using the code GETWILD with an E to get 10% off your next order. And in addition to Die Hard Dice, we're also talking about coffee with Found Familiar, my regular drink of choice pretty much constantly throughout the day. So feel free to check out Found Familiar, which makes fantastic coffee blends, including their espresso blends and all other kinds as well. They also collaborate with a lot of people within the community, a lot of artists. The bags that the coffee comes in are basically collector's items. You would want to keep those because of the art on them itself. So be sure to also use the code GETWILD with an E as well for 10% off those purchases as well.
All right, thank you so much, Aki.
Here I am, hoping your pants are legendary today. And if they're not, they certainly can be if you check out Legendary Pants, a new company with dice to drink for. If you missed the Kickstarter, you can still head over to the website at legendarypants.com and attain their wine dice, which are dice that are inspired by the sophisticated beverage that several of us really enjoy. From the classic red wine to Vino Verde to champagne and even bourbon, these click-clacks can be shared amongst friends, and you can click your drinks together with glee. So make sure you head over to the website and grab those today.
Thank you. And Mike.
In a world where we long to create and inspire, Mage Hand Press is the place to be. They've created a plethora of D&D 5e content for your perusal, from the War Mage class, a base class that basically answers the question of, can I play a character that only uses cantrips for you, or the Fey Folio, a complete book dedicated to all things Feywild, or Dark Matter, a 5e setting based completely in space with subclasses, items, and monsters galore. Check them out at store.magehandpress.com.
All right, thank you. And finally, too, Adventuring Kit. You can be one of Adventuring Kit's many alpha testers. It's a new digital toolset for D&D and tabletop RPGs in general, from dice rolling to character notes. Don't get bogged down by complex systems. With its use what you want design philosophy and accessibility as its forefront thought, Adventuring Kit is the perfect one-stop shop that will fill your void. Remember to check out adventuringkit.com for more details. And I'd like to shout out for Mythematic, who is behind the scenes, the man behind the curtain, the one that holds this whole stream together and pulls all the little levers and whatnot. Thank you to him, because he does keep us going. So thank you so much. He doesn't, audibly say anything, but he is there. And we wanted to thank him very, very much for that as well.
I'm going to say one last
Yeah.
thing, because I just want you all to know that I am not Critical Role. I am not D&D Beyond. I am not any of these other people who have a bigger contract where they don't say certain things in chat. This is my channel. And therefore, if you disrespect me, this chat, this show, or the mods in this channel, in this chat, you will get banned or timed out. So you can try that if you want to. But just know that it won't end well for you. Again, I don't care. That's all. Go ahead.
Perfect. Now that definitely need to be said. Thank you so much. All right. So with that is all the announcements. Then folks, it's time to get wild. Welcome back, folks. All right. So the Wilde Ones, after freeing a family captive by a would-be sorcerer, the source of the blight, they ended up perusing the crypt in which they found this the lair in. Eventually coming across a dark hallway deep beneath the ground, and opening up what would have been a tomb of some kind, eventually finding out that it was a lich's lair. The lich greeted them outside of the encased his lair properly there, and to the adventurer's surprise, found him to be somewhat conversational. He talked about his plight. He talked about how he was also trapped within the walls there and wanted to be freed. He also asked for a very certain lantern that Lirros had obtained from the sorcerer. the party members eventually found out that this was in fact the phylactery that this lich had used and were debating whether to give it back to him. The reason why they would give it back to him at all was because he sounded sincere in his conversation about wanting to just live long and read and learn and just continuing to learn about the area and the world around him. After much cajoling and pushing and pulling back and forth, eventually the party members decided to free him. They made their way inside his lair, past several doors and traps, and eventually came upon the form of the lich, who was bound to a chair with a giant platinum-looking spear with various points jutting across into the chest of this lich. And as Loom had mentioned, you got. And sure enough, you see the lich had, after you've taken the spear out of his body, still looks like he's pockmarked full of holes. Mentioned that he might have to take care of that at some point. Eventually, he came up towards you all and asked you for the lantern itself. There was a little bit of hesitation upon that request. Eventually, giving in, you placed the lantern on his main table there. As he cleared a space for it, he brought out a bunch of books, turned the pages, of which the writing you cannot decipher, ancient, archaic language. And he asked you for help to gather a few items across his lair. A ruby, a brass tube with a bunch of inscription on it, and some kind of carriage device for the gem itself, for the ruby. He assembled it all together and began incanting the spell. The room, which was barely lit by Norvad's staff, Ekris's blade, and a few other smaller candles that he lit up as he eventually came back to life, dimly lit, began to radiate this bright red, almost blinding energy centered around the lantern. It grew and grew and grew, and it seemed to encompass everything within this space. You all hear the spell dissipate. The energy still glowing around you. In fact, the hairs on your body still a little bit upright from it, as if there was an electrical energy. The light dies down slowly, slowly, slowly. And what you see inside this lantern, which was an ebbing, glowing green glow, is now a red glow. Same, very gaseous in nature, ebbing and flowing, pulsating. The coloration of the lantern itself has not changed, just the light source within. And you can see the lich finally, he's hovering about 2 feet above now, and he's kind of descending down. He looks at his arms. Yes, that's much better. He looks at you, Loom, specifically, and because you were the one who grabbed all these items. Thank you, child.
You're welcome, I guess. What do we do next?
You had mentioned the blight for which this... He picks up the lantern now. For which this lantern has been corrupted. You still need a remedy for it.
That is correct. Otherwise, we haven't really done our job.
You watch him cast another spell, and the lantern disappears in a pocket dimension. You see this black void, a circle, appear, and almost like a very, very low hum, barely audible to your ears. And just encase the entire lantern. It's gone now from your vision. He looks over to the vast hallways of books and shelves that is over to his right, which is actually across the way from the doorway that you first opened in. He points over there with his gangly finger and he says, I have books about this subject, perhaps. If you were to look into them, you might find a solution. Try. And he, again, pointing off, he says, try the third aisle in 14th shelf down. The third column. There is a bunch of books about botany.
You need a better organizational system, friend. I'm just letting you know that right now.
I don't need a system. I know it all in here.
Also, to be clear, Lirros ain't doing anything for this lich. He's just looking at him. That's all he's doing. He's not looking where
Understood.
He's pointing at. Just focus strictly on the lich.
If I recall last session, you had your hand readied on your blade, not out, but just kind of readied there, just in case, kind of in that ready position.
Yep.
You're at the. I'll have you at the end of the left hand of the table there. The rest of your companions are kind of somewhat surrounded this area where the throne is and where the table is. So you can see now you're in front of you, Lirros, that the candles are very, very low. They are probably an inch high, each one of them. They've been used for a very long time. And just the general detritus of this entire area, after him sweeping off the pages and whatnot, there's still a little bit of a dust cloud. And also him doing the spell has somewhat agitated the air there. And there is just a thin haze of dust that is slowly settling. And everyone else can see this as well. But he points off into the distance there, and the shelves are not labeled. They're not really numbered either, but you can count over the aisles. And he mentioned, aisle 4, shelf 14, and then the third one down or whatever.
I believe it was aisle 3. Loom has very good memory, but Loom will head into the library in the direction that the lich gave them. And,
there are various ladders on rollers that you can kind of move around, and there isn't one nearby your area, so you see that, and you just kind of I assume you kind of grab it and move it over to that area.
Yes. And I
climb. Yes.
Yep, go ahead.
You climb up and you see that section there, and there are plenty of books about botany. Some again with titles you have not heard of, with writing that you haven't seen before, but the pictures kind of dictate a little bit about that. You see, what looks like in your position, your profession, I should say, you understand that one of these books might be plants and flora and various other roots to be used possibly as poisons. You find a salve book that uses mushrooms and also the bark of various trees for remedies and for cures for ailments and stuff like that. A lot of that seem to be very holistic in nature. Eventually you kind of just move through and you find a book that looks like it has a sickle on the very top with a few strands of wheat. And you think, well, if anything's going to have some kind of farming knowledge in here, it might be this. So you grab that one.
I grab the book and I skitter back down the stacks and kind of make my way back to the table and sort of set the book down. Maybe this one?
Potentially. Let me look through it. He begins to thumb through it, and you see him pause for a moment. Oh, yes, sir.
This method here requires various components, a few of which I have, a few of which I do not. But potentially you could come across this in your travels.
He reads off these various things here, and he talks about using colloidal phosphate and wood ash and green sand, and he mentions that he has all of these in his alchemical area, which is actually in the same area as the bookshelf. It just seems to be on the furthest right shelf there. He's got a bunch of alembics and flasks and tubes and just a whole array of various titration things and whatnot. And he gives you directions to find these various items if you wish to go back and get these as well.
Sure. I'm having fun, rummaging through, having free reign to rummage through his stuff. It's fun.
All right, so you watch as Loom makes their way over to that right side of the bookshelf.
As this happens, Norvad saddles next to Lirros and just kind of leans in. Not really leans in completely, but just kind of stands there. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. I would rather just focus on this being in front of me.
I understand. I simply wanted to make sure.
And I nod to Norvad, but I don't look directly at him. Like my focus is completely on this person in front of me.
It is around that time when you watch the lich float over to you. Now he hovers right around about a foot off the ground now. He hovers over to you, Norvad, and he attempts to pull the spear out of your hand. He goes,
You won't be needing this.
and he grabs it out of your hand.
I was waiting for everybody to be done because Odessa was going to go take that spear if it was possible. So now I think she will put her hand on it at the same time he does.
Go ahead and make a strength opposition check here.
Boop, boop, boop. Just a straight strength check.
Correct.
Okay.
I'm going to join this strength check because Norvad's
All right.
really confused as to why people are just grabbing this thing from him.
All of a sudden, yeah, everyone's just grabbing it. Yeah. You can.
It's like
That's a natural one. It's gone.
What did our skeletal friend get there?
Well, I'll
Let's
tell
see.
you in just a moment here. What did you roll?
Yeah, I would like to see him go up against Odessa. Oh, I'm sorry. 19.
Oh, good.
He's a lich. He might have some strength. I don't know. Norvad just. I was holding. Oh.
So, 8, and you obviously win. He goes to grab it. He grabs it out of your hand, Norvad, and he goes to basically turn away, and then he feels an immediate tug, and you've got that. You've got your blacksmith grip right on that, and he's just. He turns back at you.
I'm sorry, but you do not need this.
Oh, I'm sorry, but being as how I'm a weaponsmith, I would like to examine it before you go hide it away like you did that lantern. We were very kind enough to release you. I think you can let me have a look at it.
No.
You watch him. He's growing a little bit more tired now.
Is
You watch
there-
him just kind of sigh in his place and goes, still with the hand still on it.
You wouldn't even know how to use this. You are not a seasoned practitioner of magic.
No, but I'm a seasoned practitioner of putting sharp objects in other people.
Is there a reason you require the staff? And if so, could you not have asked? I probably would have given it to you, but now I am concerned.
This was the very device that
You see him get if he could furl a brow a bit, he's done so. At this point, you can both see he's got a little bit of a pointy ears, I should say, and you can imagine he probably was a half elf in his life.
Okay.
They still perpetuate even after. And he turns to you and says,
This was the very device that did me in. I do not want it in anyone else's hands.
Oh, well, I mean, we're the people that just freed you. I don't understand why you think you can't trust us.
I do not believe we will not give it to you, but you were doing something.
I trusted before, and that is what got me. Do you understand why I must get rid of it?
Well, sure, but I never said I wasn't going to give it back.
I believe Odessa.
you see his hand release from the object, and he pulls away slowly. Still
Insight
facing
check.
you. And eventually, he moves.
On
his
who?
attention.
On-site check on the Lich. I'm trying to see if he's
Okay, I was
if
going to
if
say.
he's cool. Is he still being cool? Because if he ain't being cool, I feel a little bit different about that. Is he cool?
Yeah, Harmon's gonna make one as well.
And,
Harmond,
Odessa-
I forgot
Odessa
you were
turns-
here. You were so
Yes, you were
quiet.
so quiet.
Hey, Lehman,
uh,
I'm very nervous around this guy. Okay.
Well,
You're
I
going to
mean,
be fine.
oh, I can understand all the bones. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Cool.
You don't
What'd
have
you
to
roll?
make it a toss.
17.
And would it be Harmond?
That's an 8. So
8. You're the smell, Harmond. The smell of this location kind of has your nose in a little bit of a, and that's mostly what you're really focusing on. You saw the interaction. You're not, you're not oblivious to it. Lirros, with your insight check there, he still he feels afraid. It looks like he feels as if he's trusted one too many people in his unlife, and that's the reason why he had to go through this whole ordeal. And suddenly, now that you've freed him from it, not giving it to him makes him a little anxious about it.
He's afraid and anxious. Good.
I've got all the things that you need, Mr. Lich.
As Odessa turns around with the spear, she takes several steps away from him while she's looking at it. And under her breath, she goes, "Never said I was going to give it back either."
Norvad heard that, and he looks at her.
What?
You
Have you not had younger siblings? This is how this works.
Okay, you're fine. I rolled for something, but you're fine. So you bring back the colloidal phosphate, the wood ash, the green sand. All of these were properly labeled in common, so it wasn't that difficult to understand.
Did I see any other really neat, fun, cool things while I was over there that I could maybe pack?
Give me an investigation check, because there would have been stuff over there for sure.
Ooh, here we go. Natural 1.
Natural 1.
4
There's
or
a lot of
5.
dust covering a lot of stuff, and if you did see anything, it wouldn't have been to your recollection as to what it could have been. Various papers also, strewn about everywhere, and including bits of cloth and various other things, tomes, instruments, just all of it laying down. That's about all you can really gather with the time that you had, anyway. Yes.
I just did cool and bring over the things
Okay.
that he asked for.
You watch him. He procures a large cauldron of sorts, and he grabs the things that you brought over. He begins to measure out in various details the amounts needed, and you watch him begin to cast more spells. And
What you'll need now is a cottonseed meal. This brings nitrogen into the mix. It is a gas that you cannot see, but it exists among us. You are breathing it right now, in fact.
Oh, god damn it. They poison us.
And
I think he's talking about some kind of like magic or something. I don't know what nitrogen is, but it definitely sounds magical.
So he makes this concoction, and he basically, has it in the cauldron, and he begins to pour it out onto a test tube, like a little tiny vial, if you will, right? He's got a cork and he pours it in there. It fills up pretty much almost all the way. He corks it, hands it back to you, Lum, and just, opens his hand eventually. He turns back to you, Odessa.
Have you investigated it yet?
Well, I haven't, because the DM was talking and I wasn't going to interrupt him.
What?
Go ahead and roll for me.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Okay. With you being a blacksmith's daughter and having tinkered in the workshop yourself, you look at this whole device and you realize that this is pretty much beyond your recollection as far as how it works. You know that those spikes do something. You know that they, in order to activate them, they have to be somewhat, separated to eventually launch into the creature. The writing, as I mentioned before, was of an ancient one, and you couldn't really tell anything beyond the fact that it has platinum everywhere. The spikes themselves, which are now in a conical shape, are platinum. The arms that actuate them are platinum, and there are various rings with inscriptions on them, including the handle itself, all the way down to the very, very end, where there's a butt cap, and the entire pieces, all those metal pieces, are platinum.
Did you say last week that there was rings in the middle?
Correct.
Odessa would like to point it away from her and see if the rings turn and open the spikes.
Okay, go ahead and roll for me a strength check.
17.
You try, and you go and grip as hard as you can. You try to move your forearms together, and nothing is budging. Nothing at all.
Would Harmond know anything about a weapon like this since he hunts undead?
Go ahead and roll for me an investigation check as you're standing nearby.
Yeah, that's a 11.
11.
Yeah.
You're watching Odessa try to pry anything off of it, and at this point you can see that she's uncovered a lot of the dust that was on it, and you see a very, very shiny metal, and so you can assume that it is platinum, and platinum has been used to hunt undead before. It's a very good amplification metal that if you had some kind of energy behind it would be a good focal point, a good focus energy towards the undead.
Norvad looks over at Odessa, and I guess technically Harmond too, as he's next to the shaft. I can't. And I can't stand y'all. He just looks and takes a couple of steps closer to Odessa.
I don't know. I mean, I've worked a lot of weapons, but this shaft is too damn dusty and rigid for me to get a handle on, and I'm very good at it.
I mean, maybe it's just a bit old. You need to like oil it or something.
I mean, I think if I do that, I think that might be a little weird if I ask the old guy if he's got that around. I mean,
well, from what I've noticed, because like based on platinum and the way it's built, like I think an energy courses through it and out of it. Like
I'm thinking it requires some sort of magical charge to make it open.
You have to like charge it up and get it ready for it to be able to work its whatever it is.
Have you done the necessary research you need? Because I do believe we should return it to him.
Never said I wasn't.
I know, but I was.
So Odessa walks over to the lich. Well, here you go. I'm just gonna let you know that's worth a small fortune. But before she's gonna keep her hand on it.
Yeah. He has a hold of it. He's not pulling from it either.
Do you have any books on explosives?
You see him grin.
And she grins.
Of course, my child.
He begins to kind of move away. He's holding onto the shaft now. Do you let go?
Does he look like he is holding it in any kind of threatening manner?
No, he's pulling it away from you. He's now turned his body. Looks like he's heading towards the bookshelf.
Odessa will give a glance back to Norvad and let it go, albeit reluctantly.
Okay. He takes it and you watch him, just basically he's holding on to it now. And he flies over. He moves up. He puts the spear on top of one of the shelves there.
I hope you don't have a cat. It's going to get knocked down right immediately.
And he moves back down right around the same area where Loom was looking earlier for the botany books. You see him, he pulls out a book, an old tome, dusts it off and watches. You can watch from where you're all at, the dust eventually move down, and he coasts back to you.
I am done with this book if you wish to keep it.
And you can see on the very, very front there, it looks like the warning symbol for anything that's explosive. You see a bunch of rays out of the center and a little picture of a dude just kind of flying away from it.
When he says that he's done with it and she can keep it, Odessa's face just lights up. And she holds the book to her like it's the most precious thing she's held, despite the fact she was just holding a pure platinum weapon. And she's like, well, maybe you are not so bad, but you are not allowed to go out and destroy anybody. You are grounded.
He just inhales and
Norvad does speak. Norvad does speak. He looks over at Lirros first, but then he looks back and he says, your existence apparently does cause fright and terror. I will trust that we will not have to meet you in unfortunate circumstances. But
I hope not as well.
But if we do, that is what it will be. And we will do what we must. But I will choose to trust that will not happen.
As I have said before, you couldn't best me with your powers that you have. It took a whole retinue of mages to pin me down. I will not let that mistake happen again, which is why I have hidden that spear. But you do bring up a good point.
His gangly finger looming very close to you now.
Yes, you have a gift. You cling on to life, even though it was taken from you before. I have a minor quest for you. On the first bookshelf, pick up a book called The Book of Events, Jorhas. You might find something interesting there.
He will cock his head, kind of confused, but he heads over to the shelf a bit fast and picks up this book.
So there are a series of books. It looks like it's some sort of encyclopedia. Each one of them has a book of events of various areas all around the world. And you know that these are also extremely old. They have been at least 300 years old. Everything in this library is at least 300 years old. but you do see the book of Jorhas near the end of this alphabetized encyclopedia. You grab it, and the bindings have almost kind of fallen off there, but you kind of hold it together. And as you open it, you begin to see various things on that whole area. And you continue to thumb through it, and eventually...
I'm going to make a quick intelligence check.
Yep.
Okay, I'm thumbing through it.
Okay. What was your intelligence check?
A 3 on the die, so that's a 1.
Oh, well, you're thumbing through it, and you
Trying
don't
to understand it.
Yeah, it's very muddled in just technical jargon. You know, it talks about the people and the land, and the various flora and fauna, and it kind of gets almost monotonous in the very dry way of an encyclopedia, and you're just kind of lost in the pages, and you don't necessarily give up, but you take the book and you head back to see if maybe the Lich has any kind of further knowledge to speak of.
Yeah, he definitely walks back and he kind of just plops it. I do not understand what I am looking at.
He runs his finger along the edge there, and with his sharpened nail, it's not really sharpened by design. It's more just, it looks like it's just kind of the skin's almost receded back a little bit, and he obviously hasn't kept it or clipped his nails or filed them. So he runs his finger along the pages and flips open the book. And there before you see the accounts of the Hollow Ones. And it begins, and this is in common, and it begins, on the eastern coast of Jorhas, there is an area of the Kryn known as Blightshore, once known as the Miskath Strand. The writing here suggests that the land itself was responsible for bringing some back from the dead. The reason is unknown, but many attribute it to being a curse. Others believe it to be a spell-scarred area of land, experiments by the betrayer gods. And it goes on and recounts a few members of the Hollow Ones and their life, and how it has affected the society, and how it eventually became a normal part of society, and these Hollow Ones roam that area. There's a further section down below, and it says, what we know is that these Hollow Ones, they cling to life even when facing death. You, having tasted death once, are no stranger to it, and therefore are more resilient to its effects. He turns, as he's kind of like moving his finger along, and he's watching you read it, and he's just over your shoulder. He goes,
"It is a trait that I am even jealous of."
And he backs up a little bit.
I did awake in a place they called the Blightshore. I was unsure why. I must have been close in my own death. Perhaps in this Jorhas. Is that... And you see, it's like the almost non-existent cogs are whirling in his brain. Jorhas. Perhaps this will be information for me. Thank you.
Of course.
As you're about to close the book, you see, the rest of it basically says that most of them have risen really close to the time that they were killed. So within a span of years, but not an entirely long length of time.
Okay. Would you mind if I keep this book, unless you need it?
Of course. I have not finished its pages, so if you do finish reading what you need from it, eventually I'd like it back.
Maybe you should put a stamp on the back cover so that he knows when you need it back.
His quizzical look just
Oh, you are old. I am so sorry.
Norvad mimics the lich saying, "A stem."
Anyway, are we going?
I will
Odessa's just
Have-
trying to
wait.
be overly cheerful.
We do have what we need to potentially put an end to this blight. So perhaps we should.
Yeah, we totally have a thing.
But you need 2 more ingredients. Cottonseed meal, which you can find in any mill house, and dolomite limestone. There are a series of hills to the far north that have limestone quarries.
Then it seems to me that's where we should go first, because we can probably find the cottonseed mill when we return to the town. Are you going to be okay here, Mr. Lich?
I will be fine. I've got a lot of things to clean up. I do have one request. If and when you do return, can you bring for me books on poetry, history, and the sciences of the last 300 years? I very much want to know what has happened since my imprisonment.
Sure, if you do us one favor as well.
What is that?
Come here, don't go anywhere.
Don't wander far, I do not know. No, I just stay close to these lands. I do need to feed my phylactery every now and then.
That requires souls, right?
Yes, but I have found a loophole. I've told you this.
Yes. Only those who are criminals and such.
No, not any longer. I use animals.
Oh, right.
Could we maybe go back to the criminals? What?
No.
Fine.
If you bring me criminals, I will gladly use them.
We will not bring you criminals of
Yeah,
any
just-
kind.
Good luck on your squirrel hunting. We'll
Squirrels? No.
or whatever animals.
In any case, yes. Try not to wander too far, and don't go into the town or anywhere near the town. Just stay away from the town.
We will be sure to mark this place as decrepit and not of use. No one should come, so no one will come looking and be nosy.
I have a few parting gifts for you all. These items I have not used in millennia, so I figured you could use them.
The Loom perks right up at the idea of getting a gift. They're like,
Stay here a moment.
and he floats off.
All I want to do is stay.
well, how have you been? How are you, Harmond? Are you feeling a little bit calmer? Are things going okay? How you've been very quiet during all of this.
I lean into Loom. This place's smell is so overpowering.
Oh, yes, I can imagine it's a bit overwhelming for you.
Oh dear Lord, I also yeah, the sooner we're out of here the better.
I have questions for you anyway.
About the okay, all right. Sure. Once we're out of the smell range though, it's so pungent. You have no idea.
Maybe.
Like
And
lavender
like
or
they
anything?
from their pouch they pull out like what looks like a small like muslin bag that's like tied together, and inside like when they hand it to you, when you smell it, it smells like there are like spices and stuff like that from like maybe some sort of market or something like that in it.
Oh my gosh, Loom, you are
Market
a hero.
in Marquette.
Like a bazaar kind of thing. It's like cinnamon and cloves and like, that kind of stuff.
Oh my gosh, Loom, this is amazing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this smell of like old spices is really just helping out with the. Yeah, just thank you so much. Oh my gosh.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad that it is providing some relief. I usually use those in like apple juice, like juiced apples with that heated up over in a pot. It's really nice.
Oh yeah, like making a cider and everything.
Yes. Oh,
yeah, this is the perfect ingredient mix for that. You could actually make a really good hard cider or mead with these spices, but that's a whole thing.
Oh, you have a lot of knowledge about making. Oh, that's interesting. Did you used to like do that kind of stuff?
It's a hobby. I have the brewer's supplies still with me, but I can make a pretty good mead in a couple days with these spices. Now that I think about it, if I got some honey. Anyway, we're with a lich right now, so we should probably talk about this later.
I'm still keeping an eye out on the lich as well. I know he floated away, but I am still just focused.
Very.
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Yeah, if he's gone, I lean in and I'm like, hey, guys, I know it's a bit late for me to say this, but did we make a mistake?
13.
Okay, it's fairly dark in here. Even with the your light sources illuminating, you can just barely see the glow of the lich. The form that he had before when he was floating towards you when you first opened the first door seems to be still illuminating his form, and all you really see is just the glow, not so much where he is exactly or his form, but he's gone and wandered off again within the annals of his library.
Sure.
Well, I mean, he hasn't attacked us. He's going to give us gifts, and he's given us the things that we need to help end this blight. So far, so good, I think. I don't think I've ever met a friendly lich before. I mean, I've never met a lich before, but I've definitely never met a friendly one.
I mean, usually when people meet liches, they tend to die and have their souls painfully sucked out, from what I've been told, but...
And we're all alive, so...
Yeah, but if it seems too good and it sounds too good to be true,
You
Well,
are
I guess-
doing a thing called judging someone. Is there a
Yeah.
silence spell on you?
I mean, yeah. Oh, shit, you got me there.
I don't think you'd appreciate it if anybody looked at you and made the same sort of assumptions just because you can change it to a big giant wolf creature.
Yeah, that's true. People tend to usually do that. Okay, yeah, you guys got me. Still.
I do not say you don't have reason to not trust this individual. I know Lirros has his opinions as well. Most of those based on his own adventures and knowledge. But so far, they have not given us cause. And if they do give us cause, we will handle it.
I just want to come back at some point and look at all of these books and the stuff that it has over on his alchemical table. Like, there was so much stuff. I didn't recognize any of it, but it looked really cool.
At this point, you can see now, Lirros, the glow begin to get brighter and brighter and brighter, and the rest of you can now see him floating over. And it looks like he's not really holding onto anything. These objects are somewhat floating in his space in front of him. And he moves over, and you can see various objects here. You see the biggest things are a shield, a pair of boots, green in color, very small little baubles that are kind of like underneath. There's a cap, and all in total, he places it all on the table there. And you see a ring, there's a dagger, the boots, a cap, a potion of some kind, and a shield.
I I take a step back and to the side. I'm not interested in any of it.
Okay.
Tainted.
Okay. He basically runs his hand along all of it and goes,
Take what you need.
Loom, yeah, Loom will go and take a look.
Yeah, Norvad
take a
looks
look.
at it.
Michael's interested. Lirros isn't.
Yeah. Odessa is kind of looking over the top of Loom. Just to
Not
see.
hard. Not hard to do.
No, not hard to do.
Gil, check Zoom real quick as we're doing this.
sure.
Okay. I mean, the dagger looks nice and shiny and pretty, but the boots also look very cool. Loom will pick up the dagger.
I mean, do you know what to do?
Like,
Are
Loom
they
will pick up the
special?
dagger and take a look. Yeah.
I will
Okay.
look at the ring. I don't know.
Yeah, so you Norvad, you walk up to the ring. The ring looks like it's got a looks like a small golden band. It's got writing all over on the edge of it. The dagger, a very similar make as far as intricacy. It's got a bunch of little tiny runes all along the blade itself. The handle is of like a dark mahogany. It feels good in the hand, very balanced. What else, Odessa, you went to?
I was looking over the top of Loom. I assume I
okay.
would probably be looking at the boots.
Okay, so you're watching Loom as they look at the blade, kind of flipping around in their hand, and you're watching the balance. How they normally flip their daggers and whatnot, and you watch with a certain air. This one seems to be a little bit more fluid. Just by playing around with it, you're like, oh wow, this is, and you can see that your eyes wander over to the boots there. They're a very beautiful, like a yellowish green tint to them. Leather boots, very finely stitched and various layers. They look almost like leaf pattern in the leather make themselves. Again, the ring has a little bit of inscription on it, and it's small. It looks like a normal ring that you would wear. Nothing beyond the fact that it has a nice engraving motif all along the edge of it. Anyone else?
What did you say the ring looked like? Sorry.
It was just very nicely engraved on the outside of the band. And it's a normal golden ring, or at least it looks golden. It could be brass, but it's got a very nice inscription on the outside there.
Yeah, he's mainly looking at that. He don't think this anything goes. Not the shield. Norvad looks over at Ekris, who has been mighty quiet, judging you, saying, "Would this shield be interesting to you?"
I tend to not fight with shields. The great sword becomes too hard to wield with one hand, and there's no way I'm leaving that behind.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
So Odessa has no type of magic identification or anything. So she looks up at the lich. So you gonna tell me what these boots do? Or are they just like pretty?
He goes to pick them up, and he kind of hands them over to, or you're in your space anyway, and he kind of hands them off to you.
These are the boots of elven kind. Wearing these makes you quite stealthy in most people's eyes.
Odessa kind of looks down at herself and then at the boots. I'm pretty noticeable. She's gonna take them and look at them to see if they fit.
They look like they are maybe a size too small, it seems. But as you go to put them on, you put it like you start to wedge your foot in there, and it begins to grow to your feet, and it feels like it's the best.
Or
pair
shrink. Don't assume the size of my feet. I'm gonna smack you.
You're right. Well, these okay. If I say a size 8, is that Too big or
That's-
too small?
That's correct.
Exactly.
actually.
Exactly. All right. So they eventually, you know, they probably, you know, again, being a magical item, they move and contour your foot very, very well. It's like a brand new pair of boots that just feels so good. And as you're kind of walking
Yeah.
around, you notice that there's little to no noise being made whatsoever. You kind of do a little, like, you know, bouncy with your feet, and
Oh yeah, no, she's prancing all over the place. She's gonna pick up her boots, open her
Okay.
coat, and just shove them into her pocket really, really hard until they go all the way into the pocket.
I mean, you're allowed a 2 foot wide opening, so they
Mhm.
just no issue. They fit into your bag.
My pocket.
Your jacket of holding.
Yes.
Anyways, how does the dagger work?
The dagger, it is, so he walks over to you and
You can use this and gain an advantage. Whenever you are attacking anything, you get
in D&D terms, he'll speak.
a +1 to attack and +1 to your damage.
Norvad will grab the ring and just start fiddling with it. Would you mind if I take this? I do not know what it does. What might it be?
That is a ring of defense. Your defenses get boosted a little.
Oh,
+1 to AC.
Nice.
thank you.
So all that's left now is the shield, the potion, and the cap.
Correct.
Harmond, you tend to lose clothing. Perhaps a cap would be useful. And this one would not be stretched out from your form.
Ah, that reminds me.
And he heads off again. He's moving off to the far reaches. This time he's actually not moving out of that large space, that 100 by 80 foot area. He's moving off to the corner where there's a bunch of other shelves and tables there. He's rummaging through a bunch of what looks like cloth and just reams of cloth and various clothing and whatnot.
While I'm standing here in the cultist robes that I had to take off the dead body that don't fit me.
And are also torn because you also went into wolf form. Yes.
That's
Oh,
true.
thanks,
I
fine,
look
I'm
like the
torn.
Hulk right now after he becomes Banner again.
So do you pick up the cap?
Yeah, I'll pick up the cap.
Okay, it looks very much kind of like a Newsies cap. You know, it's got that very small brim out in front, but it just kind of, you know, fits your head pretty nicely. It wasn't large to begin with, so it just fits snugly, and as you kind of move it around, like, it doesn't look bad. However, the Lich returns with clothing, and he offers it to you.
I have not used these in forever. Perhaps it could better suit you.
Make a perception check.
Oh boy. Let's see. Okay, I get advantage on things involving oh, it's a dirty 20 anyways.
Okay. It's not involving undead, it's just really, really, really old clothing. A lot of the vestments that he hands you are very frilly. They have a lot of poof to them. The sleeves are more than
Yes.
exaggerated. There's a line. Think of Ron Weasley when his parents handed him down the
Yes.
prom dress, right? It's very much like that. Just gaudy colors. There's oranges, there's browns. At the time, they were maybe festive. Now, not so much. But
Oh,
he
you're
offers them
making
to you nonetheless.
fashion statement there,
Yes.
Harmond.
Oh, wow.
We can
Hey,
probably do
thanks,
some
I
fun
appreciate
redesigning on
this.
that.
You know, swag, you know, doesn't make the man. The man makes the swag, you know, or what, you know, whatever have you. So you,
Style
I'm sure you
versus
can-
trendy, I guess.
I'm sure you can pull it off. I mean,
I probably
probably will.
when I turn into a werewolf again. Will these tear if because you know these look really important to you and everything, and I kind of turn into a giant werewolf occasionally.
They can tear. They are not of magic make.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's the thought that counts. I'm very appreciative, Mr. Lit. I'll go put these on now. I talk about. I poke my head. Also, the cap. Is it magical
Yes.
cap or...
That cap grants you the ability to breathe underwater.
Awesome.
Oh, but that's a problem because he does not like baths. Oh, but he probably jumps into every puddle he sees, so it's probably fine.
I think.
Glad I have this hat now because what you said, Odessa, makes me want to walk into the ocean. And I walk behind a bookshelf.
So you make your way to a safe little corner there behind the bookshelves, and you begin to change your robes there. And yes, it's even down here where it's kind of cold. The vestments kind of keep you definitely warmer. There's layers to them, but you are clothed, and there is a neck frill around, and it gives you an odd sensation that just something is there. You know what I mean? Just it's not really meant to be there. It's not like a normal collar, but it's there now.
Oh, great. They gave me it. You know what?
It's wide more than it is, I guess, long. So it's a small little frill, but it is definitely a thing you have to contend with.
I'm Werewolf William Shakespeare now.
Oh, you look so handsome.
Thank you.
Norvad says we should probably be heading out.
The potion and the shield are still left over if anyone wants to know what they do, at the very least, to make an informed decision about whether or not they want them.
I mean, do any of us
Yeah.
use a shield?
I mean, I don't. I can't.
don't.
I can.
I do, but I'm not taking it.
I can use a shield.
Do you say that out loud, Lirros?
No.
Okay. He points to the shield.
This shield offers a little bit of protection more than you are used to. And this potion is a potion of growth. It increases your size from medium to large, from small to medium.
You know, I could really have some fun with that one, but I don't think I'm gonna take it.
Very well.
He begins to pick up the shield. Seeing that no one else has grabbed them, he picks up the shield and the potion.
Oh wait, what does the potion do again?
The potion is a potion of growth. It increases your size.
To one category.
I'll take the potion.
Good man.
I mean, have you made sure that this isn't like some weird? I don't know. I've heard. Go away.
Listen, we've done nothing in this session but talk about shafts and growth potions. I think
I just want to be the werewolf equivalent of King Kong. Let me live my best life.
We will
Harmond,
let you
what
do
languages
that.
do you know?
Harmond?
Yeah.
Let me check. I know Common, Elvish, Orc, and Zemnian.
Okay, well, you wouldn't know that on the side there is written in a different language that you're not familiar with, Pfizer, and it's a blue potion. So there you go. Take that.
Wow.
I have to take it in 2 doses.
You guys went there. You guys were already there. I just kind of solidified it. All right. So you take the potion.
Okay, that makes sense. The shield was Johnson & Johnson. No one wants Johnson & Johnson.
No one wants it.
I would have took it. They wouldn't let me.
Poor Johnson. All right, so he takes the shield, and actually he doesn't really. He picks it up, and he's about to go fly over, but he realizes that you are all almost waiting for a departure, so he drops it again, and he turns to you.
Again, I thank you for freeing me. I request those books. You don't have to be hasty about it. Just return when you can.
Yes, got it.
Thank you.
What are your names? I only got a few of yours.
I'm Loom.
Loom.
He bows sullenly. He puts his hand on like his chest, if you will.
You can call me Norvad. That is the name I remember.
Norvad. May your journeys ahead enlighten who you are.
Well, my name's Odessa.
Odessa.
He bows.
Thanks for the book. It's going to be some fun.
Of course.
My name is Ekris. And
Ekris.
remember, we know where you are in case harm should come to the people of the town.
Why did Ekris just remind me of Smokey the Bear for some reason?
And only you can stop forest fires.
Only you can prevent liches.
Remember, we know where you are.
And he bows to you also, Ekris.
Lirros is characteristically, yes. Sorry, stem brain. Characteristically quiet.
He does turn over to the rest, the final two there.
I'm Harmond.
Harmond, a pleasure. You look fantastic, by the way. I really feel they need to bring frills back, don't you?
Yeah, the whole neck thing is a bit constricting, but you have a very nice color palette.
And finally, he looks at you, Lirros, and just kind of hovers there.
I do not believe he will speak.
Very well. I wish you all a grand journey, a safe journey. Good luck on the blight.
Thank you. And if we all begin to start leaving, Norvad will just take a step closer to him. I am appreciative of the knowledge you have given. I would like to know more. I do not get a chance to converse and speak with those like me, even if you are, how you said, a lich, and I am a hollow individual.
The difference between you and I is that I chose this fate. You did not.
I understand. I just believe you could teach me a lot about what I am.
I would gladly do so. Visit frequently. And we will have a heart-to-heart.
He kind of smiles and chuckles a little bit.
Even though we technically do not.
Ha 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 ha. I think that was a joke. Thank you.
Do I hear this? Because I don't.
For the most part, he's waited until you have left or filing out individually, maybe slowly at first. But if you want to, you can roll a perception check. Norvad, if you wish to be quiet, you can roll a stealth check.
I don't necessarily think he was being quiet. He was just waiting till the others left. So, not necessarily to hide anything, but just to have that final conversation.
Sure.
Loom pulled Harmon out, like, tell me more about this meat, as they're like making their way outside.
Michael roll. I'm just gonna notice that Norvad's not with us, but I don't.
Yeah, you're one of the middle people that kind of filed out, and you're kind of being the keeper, if you will, in this scenario. You're watching them file out, counting heads, and noticing that Norvad has stayed a little bit longer.
I will just yell out though, as I don't notice him. Norvad.
I
believe your friends are calling you.
Yes, I should go with them. Thank you. I
should.
shall return.
He bows deeply now.
He bows back. He's kind of like full body just tilt.
Right, yeah.
And he will swiftly head out with his friends.
Okay. You make your way to the hallway there, and the air is still. You're walking slower than normal after just realizing that you essentially survived an encounter with a high-level lich. For better or worse, the few of you that don't agree with it patiently waited. You're now with your friends. You've talked to it. It's given you some insight, and now a few of you have various magical items in your possession. You make your way through the crypt to the crossroads. Yes?
As we leave the crypt, can Odessa look around to see if there's any like loose bricks in the side of the mausoleum there?
Give me an investigation check.
That's a 5.
All the stonework here seems to have been not disturbed for a very long time, and you can't imagine that even if there were anything here, that the bricks would move even beyond the fact, that they have just water and moss growing around them. So it'd be really hard to tell.
Okay, so in that case, when they get up to the crossroads and they move in a direction that's not by his hallway, she's going to stop and wipe off the front of a stone and take out a piece of lead from her pocket and write a message on the stone.
Okay. What you want to send me that message? I assume you're.
They can look at it if they want.
What do you write?
Der Spiel befindet sich oben auf dem ersten Regal.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but I'm going to say okay.
I believe that is Zemnian, yeah.
Say that again.
Is that Zemnian? I was saying it in a German accent, but is that supposed to be Zemnian?
Oh, is it Zemnian?
Yeah.
Okay. Then,
sure.
Harmond, you would understand it. Yeah.
I also would understand that, I think.
Okay.
Odessa, to those who can read it, you know that Odessa has just written, the spear can be found on top of the first shelf.
Okay. And you all head up towards the staircase. You can hear the little light patter of rain now, as you can see that the sky has turned a light shade of gray from the pitch black that it was once, and you realizing that you are now in the wee hours. This is where we'll take a break. We'll return to it momentarily as they now exit the crypt of the Lich.
All right.
We will be back in about 5, 7, 8 minutes, sometime. What is time in this pandemic? Get ready for a code to enter a chance to win the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount via D&D Beyond, which is the very campaign that we are using right now, courtesy of Critical Role. Thanks. Again, be there in chat. If you're a subscriber, you have an extra chance to win. So if you want to also support this show and the producers of the show, you can go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Art is valuable. So we would appreciate that. And if you want to really support this cast, you can do !TIP, TIP, and send a little love to this cast. All of it gets split equally across the board, as well as Smith in the background. But yes, we'll be back in about 5, 7 minutes. You're all amazing. Bye.
And welcome back. All right, so the Wilde Ones, after now just encountering and surviving a lich, they all made their way past the darkened hall to the crossroads of the crypt, and now are making their way on the stairs to the surface, where the false sarcophagus is still open and moved outside so that they can walk in and out. The light now of the morning begins to shine just barely bleakly across the landscape. There is still a heavy fog around, but there is also a light patter of rain every now and then. You'll start to feel a little bit more. You can almost hear it arriving slowly as the rain gets a little bit louder and then dissipates. The air is still cold, but it is definitely getting warmer. Harmond, you're fine with the new vestments that you have. They're dry and they're definitely warm. So at this juncture, you have various places to go to. You do have in your possession, Loom, the vial in which all the reagents are in there. You are still looking for... Turn my picture. You are still
Dolomite,
looking for...
limestone, and
Dolomitic limestone and cottonseed meal, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the lich had told you that there was a quarry to the north, as well as various mills throughout the countryside that I'm sure you could peruse.
Two things. As we get outside, Norvad would whistle, and Woody would fly and hover next to him. But then they will fly past him and attempt to land on Lirros' shoulder.
Okay, it does so. It's now perched up on your shoulder. You hear a little clicking, and every now and then from your little pet there, and you know that it will also kind of rub its head against the side of your cowl.
I'm just going to scratch underneath its little beak area.
Go ahead and roll me an animal handling check.
Oh boy.
Is he proficient because it's a raven?
I don't think so. This is not
18.
a normal raven. What was it?
18.
18. Okay. Yeah. It at first it startles, but it then allows you to, after seeing you all together for a while now, especially in the night when you were talking with Norvad, it seems to have lightened its mood towards you, and at this point is allowing you to give him little under the beak scritches.
Hey, Norvega says, I figured you might want some familiarity after that situation. I apologize for putting you in that situation.
It's a kind gesture, but no, you didn't put me in that situation. I am curious to see how it all played out, and I was not given clear guidance, so I had to see for myself how everything would lay out.
Understood. However, and he kind of gestures to everyone. We have been going for quite some time. Should we pitch up a resting point and actually take time to recover before we continue forth? I would not say here, but somewhere.
Perhaps we can make our way out of the graveyard and head towards the north and see if we can find a good resting spot on our way to this quarry.
That would be wise. I believe our last sleep was interrupted.
Yes. And you see him pull out a small little orb that he just holds out, and you see like the bottom of it stationary, but the top's kind of moving every so often, and then it kind of settles, and he looks. He goes, "This is telling me that north is that way, so we can start heading." It is an orb of direction. And he says, "Is everyone ready? I do not want to push you towards a direction if you are not prepared.
I'm ready.
Lead the way.
Making my way downtown.
All right, you
Walking
all.
fast.
No.
You saddle up. You grab your bags. Various other things there. The body of the sorcerer is still out there, now waterlogged, clothless, and just sopping wet as the rain, and also muddied beneath his body there. It's a really interesting sight as you all take in the morning light there. Do you leave him there? Do you do anything with the body, or
Are there any open graves or anything we can?
there is not so much an open grave, but where you fought the grave golem, there is a large upheaval of earth and tombstones and various bones there mixed in with it, and you could probably move enough of these large mounds to kind of create somewhat of a makeshift grave.
I'll turn over to our lone cleric. Should we probably bury this guy? I mean, worst case scenario, he haunts the shit out of this place. Best case scenario, he's not, laying out here rotting.
I suppose if we have the time, we should make a quick thing of it.
Look around to everybody else. Should we probably bury this guy?
Seems like the honorable thing to do.
Odessa still thinks that breaking his fingers killed him, so she feels bad and she's not going to comment.
I will make a quick thing of it. As being a cleric and being a cleric of the order I am in, I feel like it's not going to be a long thing.
No, it isn't. Again, there were shovels nearby on the mausoleum itself, inside the mausoleum entrance. So you grab, and it takes about 10 minutes of total work. You're easily moving these large mounds, and you place a body. It's a shallow grave. It's probably maybe 3 feet deep total, but it's enough to cover back up. And even with the loose tombstones and the other earth there, you're able to obscure most of the body. You assume now, because it's wet and everything, that the worms are going to take over, and it will be, weeks before it's just gone.
I do a 1 minute prayer to the Raven Queen to let her know that I am sending a soul for her to vessel forth into their prospective place of retirement.
Okay. You do you kneel down for this?
No, I'm just gonna stand up and probably clasp my hands together, kind of hunch my head low, and just connect with the Raven Queen. I don't say any words. It's just more of a, like I said before, like a meditation to bring myself to the deep, dark recesses of the Shatterfell, like remembering, or it's either like I'm remembering that place, or I'm currently like kind of have an out of body experience of being in that place. So
okay, all right, you take a moment to still yourself, and the rest of your party members are kind of gearing up, kind of making sure their belts are tightened. If they have any packs on them, they're making sure their straps are there. As you take a moment to bring these words to the Raven Queen, you get up after you're done. Your teammates are all ready. The rain.
It is done. It is done. We can proceed as we were willing to.
The rain around you gets a little louder, eventually dying down. Norvad, are you leading the team with your orb of direction?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and so you wandered now. You're not so much wandering the countryside. You have a little bit of purpose. You know that it's in the direction of the northern side. You travel past various farmlands that have been either abandoned or are in disarray. The crops, all of them, wilted, almost barren. You can hardly see any of the existing stalks or roots from the planting of the harvest before. You make your way down this road, and as you do so, heading north, you do come across a few mills. There is one that has a windmill fashioned outside of it to help work the grain. You can enter it just fine. There's no one inside of it, but the mills are still packed with various bags of grain. No one has disturbed this, it looks like, for a very long time.
Cool. And as we enter, I say, this is a perfect opportunity. This is one of the ingredients, and we can also rest here out of the rain.
Honestly, that's really true. It's nice and dry in here, and yeah, you're right. Good find, Norvad. It's interesting that they left behind so much grain, though. You would think that'd be important.
Make an investigation check, them.
Uh-oh.
Are you serious? I rolled another natural one. That's my second roll, and both of them have been natural ones. What the hell?
Okay, well, with Norvad's, so you really don't really notice anything. There is a musty smell. That's all I can give the rest of you to. However, Norvad, you're noticing that these bags have been here for a very long time, and there are a few leaks above on the roof of this mill, and the water has seeped into various bags, and you can tell that it's probably not good anymore, and still good for bedding, for a rest, but nothing that can be used for anything in that regard, for food. You do eventually, spending some time here, find a few bags, small bags of this cotton, where was it? This cottonseed meal. You also find various bowls and whatnot.
Okay. And as we settle down to take this rest that we really need, Norvad's going to whistle and summon Woody back to him. And he'll say, I need you to do me a favor. Please, if you remember the town we came from, Alfield, not too far, can you please give a message to, I believe their name is Bryce. Let them know that we have mostly dealt with the blight problem, and we are finalizing it as we speak. And I'm using Woody because he's a figurine. I can cast Animal Messenger, and he will take flight and begin to head off towards Bryce. And once he delivers the message, eventually he will return.
You can hear the echoing of the cawing out towards the countryside as you can hear it basically making its way south along the road. Eventually the noise fades and you can hear the rain pattering on the oars of this large windmill, which again has been dilapidated, and the roof itself, various places leaking. You can hear the on the ground or on the bags of milled grain. But you do find yourself a still moment here, and you can begin to shift some stuff around and make your way and use either some of the bags or your proper bedroll to lay down, rest, heal up.
Because what time is it?
It's early morning now. You're probably right around that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock-ish mark.
Yeah.
You've been down there for a while, talking with the Lich, and it was already kind of like 1 o'clock when you went there.
We can chill until 1 p.m. ish. Just not because we need to not.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
we can do a morning day snooze. That's fine with
Yeah.
me.
Absolutely. So you make yourselves comfortable. Does anyone want to do anything while they're resting or while they are?
I don't. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
go,
people,
Ekris.
people. Yeah.
I was just gonna say we should probably still set a watch. I'll go first.
Yeah, I can go after you.
I'll go after Harmond because he's probably not going to throw a rock at me to wake me up.
I have learned from that mistake. I will not do it again.
Yes, but I'm spiteful.
Do we want to pair off and do 3 shifts?
I do not
Yeah.
believe we are far away. I do not believe danger will come at a moment's notice. I will be resting, but I will always be awake. So keep it easy.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm cool with having somebody else with me. I mean, prevents me from falling asleep on the job.
I will take the first 4 if Harmond wants company. I can take the first 4 because I only need 4 to sleep or meditate rather.
I guess I'm just going to sleep the whole time.
So, I mean, if you ever get the opportunity, you should take that.
Enjoy it.
That's
So
true.
it appears
I
we
mean,
have Lirros, then Ekris, then Harmond, and so you got the 4, and then are you doing 1 hour each, Ekris and Harmond, or are you doing 2 hours?
I was just gonna take kind of the first chunk. So if there's 3 of us, we're dividing it up into 2 or 3 hours, however it divides up.
Because Lirros did mention he could take the first 4, so.
Yeah,
Cool.
we could do 4, 2, and 2 if y'all want to do that.
Perfect. That sounds great.
yeah.
Okay, great. So Ekris and Harmond, you are taking the last 2 slots.
And I'm just going to sleep, so that's going to be good for me.
All right, Lirros, go ahead and roll me a perception check as you stand by the entrance to the windmill, hearing the rain along the countryside.
Both me and Lirros, big fans of the rain. 15.
15. Good. You spend your 4 hours as you watch the sun rise, and every now and then you'll hear the various bird calls of the morning. You hear distant winds blowing across the plains there. Every now and then the trees, which are just to the north of you, the leaves rustling. Nothing comes around other than various birds that kind of fly into the mill house itself and just either peck at old grain to move off to their nests, or the few that are already there, as this is where they built their nests specifically. Nothing happens on your watch other than just the day going on for 4 more hours now, so you would probably right around that the 9 o'clock / 10 o'clock mark.
And this is in the morning, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. I'm gonna wake who am I waking up? Ekris or Harmond?
Ekris.
Ekris, it is your turn.
Thank you. Anything to report?
All clear. Nothing of any concern.
Get some rest.
And I'm going to actually spend at least 10 minutes before I actually go to rest to meditate and seek guidance to the Raven Queen, because I did it beforehand and I want to do it after because still very unsure. I wasn't given any guidance, so
Okay.
So like I did in the prayer and my meditation and the other former rest that we did, I'm going to meditate and bring myself through the deepest recesses and darkest places of the Shadowfell and try and reach out to my queen.
Okay.
As anything happen, or do I just spend some time like finding some sort of balance or finding some sort of peace in the moment?
You You leave Ekris's presence and you see a ladder that leads up to the upper areas of the windmill where you think maybe some maintenance can happen and, various other things, other storage areas and whatnot. You find yourself a little tiny roost there. As you can hear the birds fluttering around you up on the very, very top there where the opening on one of the shingles is. But as you still yourself and you rest now, you're on the ground, correct? You're kind of like your legs are on the ground, you're not standing up or you're not kneeling down.
This time I am like cross-legged, probably putting my back against whatever I can.
Like the lotus position.
Focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rested lotus position. So I'm like lotus position, but I'm also leaning back onto something.
Sure. Yeah. No, there's also grains, sacks of grains up here as well.
Perfect.
And you rest yourself, and the birds, the noise, the din of the birds begins to grow silent, and then eventually you hear nothing except for what sounds like a deep void that has just finished having a drop of water hit and ripple out. The ripple seems to echo.
I'm gonna speak using my mind, not saying these things out loud, but I say, I'm confused by your guidance. We are everything that I've been taught, everything that we as a people have sworn to uphold. I'm not doing those things, and we are in cooperation with something that we know to be so maleficent and twisted. Did I do what you asked of me, or what you guided me to do? I do not know what to do in this moment.
You feel a gush of warm air, which normally wouldn't be felt around this time of day. At least not inside this. You just... And it doesn't necessarily feel reassuring, but it lets you know that she is present. She's watching. You continue your prayer.
I know it's been a long time since I've reached out to you, and I am appreciative of the second life you have given me. I do miss my service to you, and I appreciate the retirement that you've allowed me to have after successfully being in your service. I know that I do get to use some of the benefits of having you be my matron. However, I know it's something that is a different path, because we have a different relationship now. So I will continue to seek your guidance, but know that this is one of the only times I feel myself lost.
I let that be kind of one of the last things I say at this moment.
In your mind's eye, as you close your eyes there, you see a small white dot on your upper left area. You focus on it, you turn your head a little bit and you see a small, what looks like maybe an inch tall porcelain mask staring down at you. Far away, so you can't really tell the distance here. And you focus on it. And as you do so, reality begins to kind of bleed back in. And you notice that the porcelain mask is on one of these birds, and it's staring directly at you.
And this is back in the physical, like I open my eyes.
Correct. Well, it seems to kind of bleed into reality now.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
You're now seeing the windmill, the inside of the structure.
Mm-hmm.
You can smell everything's kind of coming back to you, almost as if you had your eyes open and you just woke up from a deep nap, and all the color begins to fill your eyes as you begin to adjust. And you notice that the bird is still there, looking directly at you, not moving.
I wipe tears from my eyes, and I'm going to gesture my arm out to receive the raven if that's what it wants.
The raven does swoop down. It lands, and its talons grip you. They grip you hard. You take 2 points of piercing damage as you just watch the talons get deeper and deeper and deeper. All the while, the bird's face, which is now a porcelain mask, is staring directly at you.
I'm going to gently pet the raven, and I think I'm just going to spend some time with it, and I'm probably shedding a tear every now and then, just being confused and not knowing how to go forth.
As you reach out to pet it with your other hand, as soon as you touch it, the claws begin to release a little bit. In doing so, you'll see a little trickle of blood from one or two of the sharper indentations on your arm. Not a whole lot, just a small little bit. And eventually it relaxes its grip on you entirely.
That's where I spend the rest of my rest, just in deep contemplation and reverence and fear, while I try and sort through my thoughts.
Eventually, you take about 20 minutes of this, and as you continue to pet it, eventually the facade of this porcelain mask begins to fade, and you see the raven behind it. At that point, the raven perks up, and almost seemingly like it wasn't aware that where it was at. Flutter, and the wings carry it out the opening.
I'm going to spend the rest of the time while the party's like resting and doing watches up on that area.
Okay. Ekris, go ahead and roll me a perception check on your watch.
All right. That is a 21.
21. You take your moment to look outside on the countryside. Again, the rain now seems to be dissipating. The winds have kind of picked up a little bit. Again, only hearing the rustling of the trees to the far north. Every now and then the grasses nearby will kind of blow and caress the countryside there. In about an hour into your watch, you look down towards the south and you see a cart making its way on the road heading north with what looks like a couple and their donkey. A small little cart and filled with supplies and whatnot, and just slowly makes their way northward, passing the mill, not really taking a moment to stop and continuing forward.
We'll just keep and watching them as the cart drives past, but letting everyone sleep.
Just before they reach the forest there to the north, it tends to move off to the side towards the left, and you can see where there might be a road. You can't really tell from this vantage point, but there might be a road that kind of brings them around, not through the forest, but around it. And actually, what was your roll? You hit. You got like northwards of like
21.
21, yeah. With that roll, you're able to notice that right where the cart had turned left, there is a secondary road that leads towards inside the forest. That's the same path that you were currently on.
Okay.
Eventually your watch comes to an end with nothing else other than various birds and animals in the countryside moving and doing their business.
I'll go ahead and wake up Harmond. The day is well upon us.
Yep.
You
I'm
got
awake.
a few more hours.
All right. My turn to watch.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm awake. I'm up. Let's do this.
And he gets up and he'll start his watch.
Okay, go ahead and roll me a perception check, please.
All right. Perception. That is. I am doing bad rolls today. That is a 7.
7. Okay. You watch as Ekris makes his way back to his bedroll and cozies up next to a large sack of grain, puts his back against it. And man, are you still tired? And so you lean against the side of the threshold of the windmill, and it's a nice day. You're watching the clouds kind of clear up there. There's more blue now in the sky. The rain has dissipated, and just the sound of the wind and the nice cool air blowing through makes you fall back asleep. Let's see here. I'm going to roll a 1d6.
No. I'm sorry, guys.
Loom, you're the first to awake. And
I was about to say a reminder, Norvad not necessarily asleep.
Okay, so at this point, so
Do what you need to do, but we're saying that good reminder.
Sure. Loom, you're the first one to awake specifically from sleep, and you take a moment and realize where you're at this point, and oh yeah, this is the windmill. All right, we've rested here. You're looking outside. The shadow that is being cast from the windmill is directly pointing down. You look towards the entrance of the door, and you see Harmond now kind of curled up in somewhat of a ball there near the entrance. Every now and then, his foot will kind of do a little twitch.
Loom just sort of like looks at Harmond and realizes that he's asleep, and like there's a little smile at the corner of their mouth, and they kind of shake their head to themselves, and they kind of shake out the blanket they were sleeping on, and they walk over to him and kind of put the blanket over him and then crouch next to him and like wrap their arms around their knees and just sort of take over his watch, basically.
Okay.
Doesn't bother him.
And you look at the day and you realize that you probably have, close to 30 minutes left, as everyone has, somewhat dedicated like the 1 o'clock hour to be their final resting time. So eventually the time does arrive, and you notice that the shadow has shifted somewhat, where now the sun is kind of almost creeping inwards towards the door now. And Harmond, you are now fully illuminated. The sun is now almost in your eyes. And Loom, this is basically, the end.
Just kind of give a little gentle shake. Harmond, you're muted, friend. Still muted. There we go.
I'm awake. Yeah. Sorry, takes a couple shakes. I was just resting my eyes. I'm awake.
You're okay. I mean, it doesn't look like anybody disturbed us when you fell asleep, so.
Oh, crap. I am so sorry about that.
It's okay. Nobody else knows. It can be our little secret.
I know.
It can be our little secret.
Norvad knows.
I was including Norvad.
I understand. Hello. I hope your sleep or lack of, or a lot of, was sufficient.
I feel good, but also bad. Sorry about that, both of you.
No, it's okay. It
Could you help?
happens. Nobody's perfect. You know that your foot
Yeah.
twitches when you sleep?
Yeah, that's a new thing. Anyways, did everybody get good sleep?
I haven't woken them up yet.
The rest of you begin to kind of stir.
Gil,
Slowly.
in my rest, I'm assuming we are officially long rested.
Officially long rested, correct.
Thank God. Also, I would have just been twiddling and fiddling and doing things with some wood, but also, well, yes, I would have been whittling a thing for someone, but past that, I would have been playing with the ring and attuning to it.
Okay. Yep. You do get a +1 to your defense.
So
And
is it a ring of defense or a ring of protection? A
Ring of protection, sorry.
Okay, I just want to make sure because that's what's in it. Cool. Everyone's confirmed. Cool. Thank you.
And
You'll have to tell me exactly which dagger I need to equip myself with it too, because I don't know. So.
It's just a +1 dagger. You're basically in 3.5 terms, it would have been a keen dagger.
It's a +1 dagger for us.
+1 dagger, +1 to attack, and 4 damage.
I have so many daggers. So many.
Dagger.
But Norvad heads over to one. I would assume Woody comes back at some point. It's been 8 hours. But Norvad will walk over to Loom and hand them a small little figurine of the little beast that I am 1000% blanking on what I made.
Sandcat.
Thank you. I was like, I know I wrote it down. I guess found it. It's a little sand cat, or at least hopefully it's a sand cat.
It looks really, really well like what he thought a sand cat looks like, and it's it's got really detailed fur markings, a nice little snout, carved little nostrils, little eyes, even little slit where the eyes go with the irises. It's pretty well made. Obviously, artist interpretation, but definitely a really well made carving.
Norvad.
You mentioned that you like these things, and I had the time before we went into the crypt. And he hands it to Loom. Hopefully, it brings you some joy.
Are you comfortable with the notion of being hugged?
I believe I am. Yes.
May I hug you?
Sure.
Loom gives Norvad a hug, and Loom's body is probably warmer than any of the other people in the party. Not uncomfortably so, but yeah.
It's a nice little stalemate because his body is a little cooler than most of the party.
I mean, there's a reason that Odessa's like, I share a room with Loom. It's like my own personal space heater.
And he kind of just pats. He goes,
Thank you. This is very, very cute. I like it.
Of course. I am working on others. His eyes flick over at Odessa, but he didn't say anything.
I think I'll call them Novi.
Okay. I think it sounds like that.
Yeah.
Rumple.
But yes, looks like everything is quiet outside. No activity. Everybody is feeling better, rested.
Oh yeah, I feel great.
Yes, I noticed 2 paths in the road up ahead, right when we get to the forest.
I make my way down from the ladder that got me up to the perch that I was at.
Oh, hi, Lirros. How was your rest?
Much needed. It was like I said, much needed.
Lirros, you heal up the 2 points that you took from the Raven. It was just
Okay.
more of a yeah.
Oh, they keep
Flavor.
it. They keep it. I'm kidding.
Can I try one more time to see if I can find some cottonseed meal?
Sure.
Cool. Maybe some sleep will have
So
given
I
me.
think Norvad actually found.
Oh, did you find it? Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah, I think I looked around. I think yeah. Well, yeah.
with
I
your
will-
with your passive perception. So,
That
but you can
said-
go ahead and roll for me again.
I will give you guidance
Cool. Thanks.
because you're standing right in front of me, so I see you looking around.
Hey, that is so much better. Hold on just a
So
second.
much better. Hello, much better.
I rolled. Okay. All right. Hold on just a second. I got a 15.
Okay, I will say that with that 15 or 16 or 15.
15.
15. I will say with that 15, you do make a once over top to bottom on this windmill. On your way up to the very top, you find one more bag of the cottonseed meal, as well as another dry bag of grain, regular grain milled grain, and you can it's about 20 pounds, so it's a lighter bag, and it hasn't been you can see where the birds have started to poke a hole at the very, very top as they kind of grabbed a few bits, but
It's not dampened.
it's not damp. Correct.
Wow. I found some more milled grain. We can probably take this back to Oldfield and maybe make a donation to the bakery.
Good
Yes.
idea.
Odessa wasn't awake, but now she is. I heard bakery.
Good morning, Odessa.
Did you find a bakery?
No, but I found some dry grain that we could donate to the bakery.
Okay. You don't have like any pastries? This is
No, there are no pastries here. This is all pre-pastry.
She turns around and just looks dejected and starts packing up her stuff.
Are you okay,
Sleep
Odessa?
well.
I am not a morning person. Don't talk to me.
It's
Okay.
technically in the afternoon.
Norvad, you are on thin ice.
I am not on thin ice. I am standing on stone.
Norvad
I
has
think
a
what's
point.
She means you're in a precarious position.
I'm standing
Not
right next to Lou.
literally.
Oh,
Harmond, did you say that out loud? He has a point.
No, he did. Harmond did, but that's what he says.
I'm taking a step back because I'm between Odessa and Harmon. I'm taking a step back.
I made a
Let's-
terrible mistake.
Let's just give Odessa some space. How about we all go outside and stretch a little bit, and have something to eat. Let's do that.
I'm gonna stay inside with Odessa as Odessa gets themselves together. If that's all right, because I'm just like making
That's
sure that you're
fine.
actually okay. But he's
Oh no,
just
I'm
not.
fine. I'm just
Yeah.
she's about as much of a morning person as I am, which is not.
I want to say Lim goes outside and immediately starts doing like what looks like maybe like a starting morning routine. Like they start stretching and like kind of limbering up a little bit and kind of, making sure all of their weapons, like the 5,000 daggers they have and their rapier are all like sharpened. And,
Check.
yeah.
check,
Yeah. It's
check.
like,
Norvad actually joins you for sure. You see a familiarity in this routine that comes over him as he watches. He like gets down, starts to like meditate with his quarterstaff and some other stuff, and he even like from his cross-legged position kind of splays his legs out into a full split as he like stretches.
we should do like a morning sparring like thing together. I think that would be fun.
That would be fun.
Harmon
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Harmon walks out, tries to stretch, cracks his back, goes, fuck, ow, no. Mm-mm. Pulls out meat and just starts eating and watching.
I know that feeling.
If
Look at the old man.
if Odessa is still in there, and there's only just me and Odessa, I'm
Mhm.
gonna say to Odessa,
Mm.
in Zemnian, I'm gonna say,
Good morning.
I'm just using Lirros' voice because Lirros and I'm not gonna be able to pull that off. I'm not there yet.
I
Maybe
can't
I'll
do a
practice.
southern accent with another language either, so don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
We'll put a pin in it and we'll come back.
Good morning.
Hmm.
Where did you learn your Zemnian?
She kind of blinks a couple times. Well, where I live.
I guess that's a fair question. That's a fair answer.
I mean, it's a lot of people speak of where I live.
I see.
What about you? I like to think that Lirros' Zemnian is like my operatic German versus modern spoken German.
Yeah.
There are definitely, like a dialect difference. For
Actually,
sure, but
probably opposite. Yours probably sounds more modern than his.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yours
Yeah.
is like Hochdeutsch, and mine is like modern German.
Yep, exactly.
It's like she looks like she's parsing some of these words out of context clues.
I learned it from a previous job that I had.
That's fair. I mean, I don't hear some of these words very often. I mean, if you like it, I can teach you some of the newer versions.
I'd actually quite enjoy that. I know that I have an old tongue, and so I do need it to be come through with the modern times.
Well, no, but that's one of the things that makes you so great. You know so much. I'm still trying to learn.
Well, I must say that was a neat trick that you did back there.
Well, I kind of didn't expect anybody else spoke Zemnian. Until I found out Harmond did. But he wasn't paying attention.
I don't believe he was.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm happy to work on Zemnian with you. And can I do you mind if I ask you questions about stuff? Because you know a lot about a lot.
Please do. I would enjoy that.
Like her whole face just brightens up like it's her birthday or something. It's like, wee!
Calm down, please.
Oh.
But no, please, you may ask.
Okay. Well, I will make a note in my journal and I will write down every time I have a question for you. And then when I get every 5 questions, I will ask you questions.
Or you could wait till when we have time to rest so that I can work on moderating my language and you can ask me questions while I have time not to think about everything.
That's probably a good idea because I already have 6 questions in my head. So we probably should get going.
And I'm walking out.
Yeah, you all walk out to see Norvad talking to Harmond, like he's standing up saying, "No, it's like this." I see slowly leans down back into a split, saying, "It's very easy. You just have to maneuver your lens and be agile."
See? And Loom does it too. No problem.
If Harmond is facing away, Harmond hears
Sure.
nothing until about 3 inches behind his ear. How did you sleep, Harmond?
Oh, Jesus.
I love these boots.
Oh.
He bumps into me and I push him back.
These boots are fantastic.
Odessa.
I mean,
See?
yeah.
Morning
You
sparring.
just gave Kelli the best present ever because now no one can hear me. It's great.
Oh, I'm too old for that. Oh, my chest. I'm pretty sure you just put my blood pressure to unhealthy levels there, Odessa.
I mean, you're already
What?
a werewolf. It's pretty unhealthy.
I don't know if this is allowed as a cantrip, but I'm gonna ease him with my blood cleric abilities. And
I'm
just,
just gonna ease him.
I cast ease.
Ease works as a blood thinner, everybody.
All right.
Ekris, are you prepared?
wow.
I don't think he's had
Ready
his
to
coffee
go.
yet.
I'm,
We do not have any caffeinated things here.
We ran out.
It's fine. I didn't
Great
pack
supplier.
much for the road.
Odessa's reaching into her pocket. She's like, nope, I got nothing. Well, I got my boots, but you can't have those.
I got some tea bags.
I have Zamnian coffee for a special occasion, but that's not
Excuse
now.
me?
It's not for now.
But it could be for now.
Let us respect that it is for a special occasion and sally forth to adventure.
Continue heading towards the forest.
We're
His name is
going.
Sally.
We are
She's-
walking.
She's
Chris
walking
is-
beside
is-
Lou Dorothy.
This is not a morning group. Just to be clear.
as Woody flies back, and as soon as he lands and returns, he turns back into a figurine.
Yeah. Lim is
so actually, Woody has
100%
not,
a morning
returned
person.
Oh, okay. Oh,
It's been a while, and it hasn't. You're now 8 hours, right? From
Yeah.
when you sent him to now, and has not returned yet. Yeah. So you do make you out in the fields now on this road. The wind is coming from a northwestern direction, and you make your way north, eventually reaching the tree line of this forest. And this forest isn't dense. You can see pretty much, not all the way through it, but for the most part, it's kind of lovely. The wind is very refreshing, and as you walk through the forest, you can hear the leaves rustling above you, hear the birds chirping and doing their own thing. It is actually at this time that that Woody does eventually find its way right through the forest, landing on your shoulder, and gives you a little peck on the side of your head, just making sure that you know that he is there.
okay. Cool.
And you continue moving forward, and eventually breaking past the forest. There are now a series of hills that kind of roll, and in some cases are quite steep. But you can see where the path kind of leads. The path now seems less of a walked path and more of just a path of convenience between the rolling hills here. And you make your way further north and further north. Now about an hour and a half into it, the geography kind of changes. There's less grass now. There's less plants in general, and you look at all of the rocks here on the side begin to kind of now protrude as it now begins to kind of wind, and eventually you come to crest across this large plateau that goes down. You can't really see beneath this area, but you see the remnants of what looks like a large limestone quarry. You can see old wooden cranes still with various ropes attached to them with the pulleys intact. A few of them having large, what looked like maybe 1 ton to 2 ton stone, completely squared and completely chiseled and flattened. There are various broken rubble from the mining operations that they had down here. There is a few wooden ladders that lead down to the very, very depths. There are a few wooden crates as well that seem to have various equipment for the miners that were down here. And as you crest along the edge, you hear a faint what sounds like a child crying. And that's where we'll end today's session.
Oh, shit.
I don't like that.
Oh, shit.
Well, it's
Best
just a little
case
kid.
scenario, that's a child in need.
It's just a kid.
And that's the best
nah,
case
nah,
But we're
scenario.
by mine, so we can find some regular gnolls.
Oh,
and
right.
True.
We still have not fought the regular gnolls. Out of
There's gotta be
curiosity,
at least
We
one
have
left.
discussed. We have found
We do.
Harmon's worst nightmare, the crying child. So
Mhm.
Dang.
Oh no.
wow.
That went dark.
Wow.
Not even Lirros is
Well.
used to that much shade.
Whoa.
Well,
They're gonna take half my gold.
thank you all so much for being here.
Oh.
If we can go around and say who we are and where we can find you. check in chat. If you have not entered, do not enter again if you already have. If you haven't, hashtag Wild to enter to win a digital copy of the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount, which is the campaign setting as created by Critical Role that we are using for this campaign. And that is Wild with an E at the end. My apologies. With that, we're going to start with Mike.
Hey everyone, I'm Mike. You can find me everywhere as Mike, I guess. I'm a variety Twitch streamer. I make TikToks, and you can find me coming soon on a new Vampire the Masquerade V20 series called Fangs of New York. Details coming soon.
Ooh. Kelly.
Hello, I am Kelly, mostly known as the Opera Geek. I am a professional opera singer. I do have to speak and sing German on a regular basis. So I figured it would, be perfect. You can actually catch me tomorrow with CB for Jasper's Game Day. Our game is at 3:30 Eastern. And, I'm just saying, it's going to be pretty good. Our character's going to be pretty good. And on Mondays, Rime of the Frost Maiden. Otherwise, you can catch me on my channel streaming a variety of things. I'm actually not sure what I'm going to be streaming next because I don't plan in advance. Otherwise, check my Twitter at the Opera Geek. Thanks.
Michael Kritz.
Hello, my name is Michael Kritz. I go by Michael. Oh, I am Michael Sinclair II. Go by Michael Kritz. I am in Into the Motherlands on Wednesdays. I'm on Fateforge Academy podcast. Podcast releases episodes Fridays. I'm on Second Stars to the Right, a bi-monthly show that is on Fridays about Neverland. I am also a computer science major, and I'm also supposed to be in something in like a week from now, but I'm waiting for details from someone who I respect and admire, who's a fabulous actor, but I'm waiting to hear back from them. So anyways, just catch up on my Twitter socials. You'll know when that's happening, and Twitch if I'm ever streaming Magic the Gathering, because I love that.
Aki.
Hi, everybody. I am Aki, and you can find me at Twitter at Mixed in a Bottle. That's MXGINIBOTTLE. And my entire Twitch streaming schedule can be found on my personal Twitch channel, twitch.tv/ShidariAki. That's SHIDAREAKI. Catch me tomorrow with CV playing some new Pantheon Academia, where we play teenagers with godlike powers at a private school up in Oregon. It's all fine. Things are fine. We don't have prom or anything like that coming up anytime soon. No stress. It's fine.
None whatsoever.
That's at 4 p.m. PT. Yeah, that's me.
Nick.
Hey, I'm Nick, Nick the Tiefling on Twitter, TikTok, and Twitch. And yeah, you can catch me as, in addition to Ekris here, you can also find me playing Novus, another paladin who's a lot more bubbly as opposed to intense, on the site Fae Fiends and Friends, or the Fae Fiends N Friends with an N, on Wednesday nights as well. So that's me.
Gil.
Hey folks, my name is Gil Ramirez. I'm known as Gil the Vlogsmith, and I enjoy being these wonderful folks' Dungeon Master. They have been great so far. I love them. You can find me pretty much at most social medias at Gil the Vlogsmith. I try to brand and do all that like a good social media person. I do stream on my own channel on 9 o'clock Pacific at, again, my channel. So yeah, 9 p.m. Pacific. You'll find me doing some stuff with a buddy of mine who is interesting. I'll say that at the very least.
And you all know me, Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard. Critical Bard across all social media channels. You can catch me doing many things. You can catch me tonight over on Lark Network for the second episode of the Gravicon Order, where I play a time wizard, a lovely individual. You can catch me tomorrow, like Jasper's Game Day with Kelly and New Pantheon Academia with Aki. You can catch me Monday on Realmsmith for Into the Mist, our Curse of Stroud campaign. And you can also catch me next week another day for Jasper's Game Week with David Blue, Anthony Rapp, Todd Stashwick, and many other people. Otherwise, catch me everywhere on Twitter and Twitch, where I'm a partner doing intense things. A big shout out to the man behind the curtain, Mythomatic, for being amazing and keeping the show running in the back. Definitely
Production
support
Zaddy
him.
Myth.
Yes, support him in all the things he does. And as a reminder, if you like this show and you want to support us and what we do, you can always send a tip our way. It is split equally amongst the cast and Myth. Just a way of you all saying thank you if you wish to. The winner of the digital guide to the Explorer's Guide to Wildemount is Pickle Rick. Thank you.
Very nice. Pickle Rick.
I'll be reaching out to you with that code. Very soon, literally in the next 10 minutes. Again, thank you all so much. We're going to raid someone because that's what we do in this household. We're actually going to raid Jasper's.
Nice.
Beyond right now, because that makes sense. So again, we appreciate all of you, and until then, stay wild, y'all. Bye.